Okay, that was a long day. Thanks to Detroit, and thanks to a lot of things you can criticize about what we were about out there today. It can't be about that. It can't be. We're not. We've got to assess. We've certainly got a bye week, but there's nothing magic about bye week. You can do some things differently within 3 days of some of the things that bit us out there today. This was very concerning, and it was very humbling, and it was very I felt bad because of all of our great fans, and especially the ones in this stadium, and certainly the ones that are all about the Cowboys. So we've got a lot of work to do. I'm glad we've got this bye week coming up here. It'll give everybody an opportunity to get out and actually practice what it is that takes you to be more successful in a game like this. This was a shocker. I thought we would do a lot of things better in that football game, and I think we can. We just didn't do them out there today. So don't have a lot of answers. What are you going to do about it? We're going to go to work. Going to use the young guys we've got out there, the reps they're getting, the experience they're getting. We're going to try to make that help us get in position to win us some ball games.
You talk about your fans, Jerry. 38 points, that's the worst home loss in your 35 years as owner. What is the feeling of embarrassment towards your fans?
Well, I regret that for our fans, regret it for everybody that is a part of the Dallas Cowboys or have been a part of the Cowboys. And it puts a lot of resolve. But the key thing to think about right here is we're 6 games into this thing. We're 3-3. We've had times when we haven't liked where we were when we were in the early part of the season. We don't like where we are right now. There's a lot of work to do, got a lot of improvement before we'll sit here with any smiles on our face.
How do you and how will you take ownership?
Well, let me say this. I have ownership, so there's no taking it. I got it. So the bottom line is what I know to do is go to work, like you say, do something about it from every individual, every player, every coach, everybody in ownership, everybody involved. We've got to get better.
Does a loss like this force you to reassess what you thought this team was? You have to start to look at it a little bit differently as you assess it?
Well, I think that anytime you get beat, you create question marks. And when you get beat like this, you create more question marks. And certainly there's a lot of question marks there, but all of us get out and do what we do in life without all the questions answered. And we just got a bunch of them right now, a lot more than I would have hoped or thought. I thought defensively we were compromised, but I thought we could come in here and really make up for where we were compromised on defense with our offense. Detroit, again, had a lot to say about that. But this was a stunner as well as just a disappointment.
Jerry, what do you look at Dak Prescott and his performance?
Well, I look at the whole picture there on any of the players, but we weren't satisfied with any performance out there today. It'd be the wrong thing to point out anybody that did have a good performance out there today. This is a team thing. It's obviously if one part of the team gets out of whack, then it can impact dramatically all parts. And y'all have heard enough of that about complementary football. But the thing that was impressive is I saw a very physical bunch out there having a lot of fun at our expense. We won't forget it.
What kind of changes?
Not against Detroit. We just won't forget it. We saw how we would like to be.
What kind of changes, if any, would you be open to considering?
I don't know about which changes, what changes, but obviously We've got to come in with a different demeanor. We've got to come in with different execution. We've got to come in with different approach. Certainly if we were going to play Detroit again, but we've got to do that in general. We've done some good things this year, but we've had a lot of things which is football. You have a lot of things that you can work on better. I think it was just the feeling of the team having fun at our expense, Detroit having fun at our expense. So, as you probably all know, the Fords are some of my favorite folks there are, period, not just in the National Football League. And so, if that was going to happen on a personal basis to me, I think I'd rather have it at their hands than anybody. Of course, their coach is a guy that we think a lot of around here as well. They've done a heck of a job, and boy, did we pay the price for it out here today. And while they've been doing a heck of a job, we haven't done a good job. So we've got to address that and recognize that. That's what happened.
Would any changes be restricted to personnel and not coaching at this point?
Well, I don't know that. I know that automatically says, well, what are you going to change? Maybe change would be just try harder, bear down harder, go harder, add another 30 minutes, add another push. I'm not ready to talk about changes or those kinds of things right now. I do think that we've got personnel out there, especially on the offensive side of the ball, on a game like this that can play better than we played today. Detroit had a lot to do with it. Our holes in our defense had a lot to do with that. That's the complementary part of it. But let me say this. What you're listening to is a family member talking. You're not looking at somebody on the outside packing his bags and leaving. So the address here will be from within, with each other, have each other's backs. We're well aware of the climate out here right now about our team. We're going to have to work through this.
Is the head coach something that you're evaluating during this bid?
No.
Detroit is clearly one of the top teams in the NFC. How can you is there a change that can be made to make a 38-point deficit drawn closer if you were to play it?
I'd start right there. I wouldn't use the word barely one of the top teams on Detroit anymore, if you're in my shoes. They are far cry from being barely one of the tops. I think they are very possibly one of the tops. I think Baltimore is a top team. We've had the good fortune of playing both of them out here. We can't play better in any phase. We can't play like that in any phase and be where our fans want us to be and where I want us to be.
Do you believe your roster has the talent to be one of those top teams as it's assembled right now?
I do.
Why?
I just do.
How disappointing is it, Jerry, that it keeps happening?
What was that? Yep. Okay.
It keeps happening at home. You know, I guess 4 straight, but 3 this season. How disappointing is that it's happening at your play where you had a home field advantage for a while?
Very, very. We all know you should feel better at home. I think that is an advantage. You don't travel, sleep in your own bed. It should be an advantage at home, and that's one of the first things you look at. Okay, how come we're not playing better when we've got the advantage against the other team? We get to wake up in the morning and are in familiar territory. All that's stuff to think about. But generally speaking, I think my message is I know you don't need to hear me say this, but I'm well aware that we're in the proverbial spur right now.
Jerry,
okay.
What would it take you to evaluate making a head coaching change in season?
Oh, I haven't even considered that. I'm not considering that. Just so you're clear, I'm not considering that.
But you've done it
I wouldn't be a hypothetical in that matter. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you? Okay, well, I'm not going hypothetical with you about when I'd consider coaching change in light of the timing we're sitting here with. I'm not at all.
What do you think of the job?
Excuse me?
What do you think of the job Mike McCarthy's done?
Well, we're disappointed that we're 3-3. I don't blame that all on being the 3-loss side of it. I don't necessarily totally blame on McCarthy. The players will tell you they had something to do with it too, as the other part of the staff will tell you, and the owner sure will tell you he had something to do with it. So it's not all on him.
Jerry, are you shocked at sort of the gap between where you are right now and a team that's at the top of the NFC like that?
Yeah, but I think the real question is can we close that gap in a matter of this season? The answer is yes. I surely do.
I know you often like to say you don't have time to have a bad time, but this coming on your birthday, does that impact your celebration? And do you kind of talk with Stephen and the rest of the family? Where are we now? What do we need to do versus really celebrating?
Well, you know, just happened this week. I was visiting with Roger Penske, and he was telling me, he said, it's a shame you can't win every race, but as you know, you don't win but a fraction of them to get to be involved. If you really can't take the heat, if you can't take the bad, you're in the wrong business here. And this isn't the world's smallest violin at all. I've had some of the most wonderful moments, fleeting as they may be relative to all of negative moments. But those serve you well. But I do some of the best stuff I do, I think, when I'm on my butt.
To back up this point, how can you close in that gap of 38 points before you get to another matchup with an NFC contender?
Well, the how part of it is something that the whole NFL would like to know, in terms of not how we do it, but how everybody does it. There won't be but one champion this year, and everybody will wonder how they did it. And a lot of times that's happening as they go through the season. And their story of how they'll win that thing, the final team. So there's nobody got a blueprint, and we're going to do it this way before the season starts. That's not realistic.
With Bland and Parsons, do you expect them to have them back after the bye week?
I don't know about any of the status of our players that weren't out here today. I do know that they, in their own way, they're a part of this. Okay, because for whatever the reason, we weren't able to go out here and play the kind of game that Detroit played with the team that was out there. I'm sure those players that weren't out here today will take a lot of the being a part of this team, having each other's back. They'll take a part of this. There's no question in my mind about it. We all should.
Were there any effort issues today for you on your team?
Oh, I think that they were having so much fun that when you looked at that side and then looked over at our side, it looked like all the adjectives you want to use about whether one of them is effort, whether one of them is sharp, whether one of them is physical, all you want to do. When somebody's clicking like that and having that much fun, whether you're facilitating it or not as the other team, you can look pretty ragged. Of course, we all know what counts. That's that scoreboard. That says it all right there. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay.